What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Israel's Movie Reviews, and today we're going to be discussing a movie that I took a few weeks to actually review, and I was really excited for, and we're going to be talking about Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. This movie was on my radar ever since the Super Bowl, and I'm not gonna lie, to me it lived up to the hype. I love Anthony Ramos. I love the addition of Miss Dominique Fishback. I love the Autobots and the actual Decepticons, even though they are called Decepticons in this film. But I love the addition of them. They were actually very terrifying, very scared. They delivered us something that I think was a great continuation of the franchise. This is a very captivating film that blends comedy and action. And I think that Transformers: Rise of the Beast combines the character-focused approach of Bumblebee from our previous film with, this whole bombastic and these illusions, right, that Michael Bay is obviously famous for. And the film does, I think, a great job of globetrotting the adventures like in the past films, but in this one, it gives a little more reason. There's a message, a story behind it, and it wastes no time. I think it strikes while the iron's hot, so to speak, and I think there's a nice mixture of balance of screen time given to the human characters and to the actual Transformers. Even the beasts themselves are actually surprisingly underutilized in this film. But I wouldn't take that as a negative. I think they're still trying to build up a franchise. So the movie is long. But it takes its time to build up. But at the end of the day, I think this is going to be a very successful franchise. At least the continuation of this franchise led by Anthony Ramos, who I think gives a really good lead performance. He's easy to root for. If you've seen him in A Star Was Born, he had a minor character role there. Then you saw him in The Heights, obviously came from Hamilton. And he's just an absolute beast in this film. Not only he's easily rooted for, right, when in most of his movies, he has this genuinely strong relationship that he develops with Optimus Prime and his vehicle Mirage. Mirage, to me, was the standout of the film. He's voiced by Pete Davidson. I think that was a great pairing, voicing this character with Pete Davidson. The constant quips and one-liners, they never get annoying, and he still has this emotional connection to the main character as well, which I thought was very, very unique. It's hard to, have a relationship with a robot that's CGI for the majority of the film, and then with a human character. So I thought that was excellent. Peter Cullen, obviously our Optimus Prime, he's always perfect as this character of Optimus Prime, and this is undoubtedly some of the best work in live action films that we get from him. It's what I think Bay was going for in his later installments, but done, I think, a slightly better way. An Optimus Prime who's not the ideal leader, but because he's selfish, he's broken, he's the one carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders when it comes to his kind. And it's on full display here. I think kudos to the way they actually not only wrote that character, but portrayed him in the film. We got to give credit to Stephen Cable Jr.'s, man. His direction is very strong overall. This is the director from Creed 2. I think he's one of the best directors we have in the game today. The fights can get a little chaotic, but at a second glance, you can see that at the second act and the third act, which is the final battle, it's still a lot of fun. I love the way they mirrored things. I love the way they used different camera angles. In many ways, the music, I think, was wisely chosen to lay off of the nostalgia for the most part, creating its own feel, its own epic score, and using, I think, classic pieces sparingly. We didn't need them, majority of the time. They put a lot of original music in this, and I think I appreciated that. And talking about that, I think that the soundtrack, I think, did a great job in making it easy to adjust to the time jump and making it feel authentic. And I was actually impressed with the CGI. The CGI is what shocked me the most. It was impressive. There's obviously a few weak spots throughout, but I think that's expected with a film that's majority CGI. Very impressive. There's obviously also kind of some weak, glaring plot points in the film, but I don't want to spoil anything for you because overall it was very minor. The balance between realistic details and the more animated flourishes in the film, they do stand out. Didn't hate it, but I think the film it was fun. Like I said before, captivating film that blends comedy, action, adventure. There's drama in the film, not as much as I would like, but I wasn't really expecting that. It's one of those films that I was thoroughly impressed by the movie's ability to keep me entertained, and I'm very hard to be entertained. One of the stand-up performances, like I mentioned, wasn't only Mirage, who brings this touch of comedy and showcases this level of comedy that genuinely hits our hearts, right? And you can tell he's there for the humans. The idea of the story revolves around these Maximals joining forces with Anthony Ramos' character, whose name is Noah, and the Autobots as they work together to defeat this menacing robot, which is, the phone in the movie is called Scourge, played by Peter Dinklage, and I think that was also cool too. And they called, not the Decepticons in this movie, they called the Terracons. And although the film takes a bit of a time to build up in certain parts, like I mentioned before, it ultimately contributes to the overall experience. At times I was like, damn, they're taking a while to get to this part or this part. But after a while, all that gets thrown in the back because they actually make up for it. Not only with a lot of the set pieces, but with the camera work. Like I mentioned before, I thought it was flawless, providing a fresh and new perspective for us, the audience, the viewers, And Dominique Fishback, although I feel like she doesn't get a lot to do in this film, although she's side by side with Anthony Ramos, I think Anthony Ramos outshines her just this much because he just delivers this outstanding performance. He's effective in portraying a different range of emotions, and going above and beyond to embody the character. I love the dynamic and the chemistry between him and his little brother in the film. That could have been stretched out a little more, but I see why they didn't do it. But he delivers, Who else to voice Optimus Prime but Peter Cullen? I like the way they actually took his face and made it Optimus Prime when he actually doesn't have his mask on. I think it presents a new side of Prime that we've never seen before. It added depth to the character, not only the face, but just the way he carries himself in the film. And I love the addition of, Cheetor, Rhino, Miss Primal. I thought that was, you understand? I think that was really cool. And, Peter Dinklage, for, small man in real life, takes on this role as this giant, perfect villain, Scourge. He added a very scary and creepy and dark twist to a story that's very crucial in this element of these superhero movies, right? Especially in this Transformers franchise. So I think he was really needed. And finally, I think the message of the film obviously was never quit and keep getting back on your feet. And that resonates with a lot of us. And it resonates strongly throughout the narrative, especially through Anthony Ramos' character. That's exactly what he is. He's just a breath of fresh air. He never quits. He's about getting back on your feet and just getting the job done, no matter what it takes. He starts off very selfishly and eventually, adapts. And it's important to note that the film contains a significant amount of profanity to be, PG-13, pretty much, movie for the kids. But I give Transformers: Rise of the Beast a solid. I gave it a solid 8 out of 10, guys. I recommend. It was, I think, more focused on kids from maybe the ages of 12 to 17, 18 years old, as well as adults who appreciate the franchise, right? And this is a movie that you definitely got to see on the screen. For those who want to wait, knock yourself out. You can wait till it gets to streaming or video, but go check it out now. And that's the review in a nutshell. If you have any questions, man, disagree with me, hit me up on my Discord. And look forward to hearing you and seeing you on the next review. To the next one. Deuces.